Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight.
Former Cabinet Minister Brent Simonette responds to the most recent concerns over the relocation of the post office.
Police investigating the apparent suicide of a 16-year-old boy.
BPSU president is calling those claims of sabotage at PMH ludicrous.
Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to Our News and thanks for joining us. I'm Kyle Joaquin. Top of news tonight, St. Anne's MP Brent Simonette revealing even more about the Minister administration's controversial decision to relocate the General Post Office to Town Center Mall. Simonette told Our News the lease was finally signed last week and said the cost to rent the mall decreased by nearly $200,000. However, he refused to address questions over his call with the Prime Minister. Jasmine Brown reports.
The former cabinet minister and part owner of the Town Center Mall fired back at the latest round of concerns surrounding the relocation of the General Post Office. Simonette, who would only agree to a telephone interview, revealed today that the lease was signed last week Friday. He was asked why the signing took so long and why it occurred nearly 2 months after the relocation of the post office was completed. The former cabinet minister insisted there was nothing unusual about it.
Most times government rent a building, it takes a while before the lease physically gets done between the landlord and the tenant working it out. There was a need for getting this building built.
The signing comes amid questions regarding whether there could be legal grounds to declare that the government's resolution to enter into the lease null and void and to have Simonette vacate his seat in the House of Assembly. Former Attorney General Alfred Sayre said new information regarding the lease could lead to a challenge. He also questioned whether the House of Assembly was misled, given Simonette's recent admission that he discussed the terms of the lease with Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis during an early morning phone call before it was presented to Parliament. The new information conflicted with the resolution, which stated that Simonette took no part in discussions surrounding the decision. Anglerston MP Glenys Hannah Martin called the entire situation a mess.
All in all, this has been a great debacle on the part of this administration, and it's very unfortunate.
Simonette branded the recent claims a red herring, but when asked for more details about his conversation with Dr. Minnis regarding the deal, Simonette refused to address it. However, he did address his claim that the cost to lease the post office has decreased from $900,000 to $700,000.
The lease was based on a square footage rate of $12. When we first started off, we didn't know the square footage we were going to finally build out at. We have now settled that, and I can't remember the exact number, but it's something like 57,000 and something. I don't know where the confusions come from, but I hope I've cleared that up.
Asked if he regrets the agreement to lease the Town Center Mall, Simonette said no matter how he answered it, he would be seen as smug. He then insisted people will think and say whatever they want.
So the press and the talk show people and all these people can blow into that what the Jesus they want to blow into it. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I've finished talking about this subject, okay?
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
All right, thanks, Jasmine. Neighbors and schoolmates of the teenage boy allegedly found hanging in a home on Faith Avenue are reacting to his shocking death. Jared Higgs reports.
According to police, it was shortly after 5 p.m. on Sunday when they were called to this home on Faith Avenue North off Carmichael Road. When they entered the home, they found an unconscious male hanging from a rod in a closet. Now, paramedics were called to the scene. They transported the male to a hospital where he later died. Family members told Our News the victim is 16-year-old Cornell Edwards, a 10th grade student at Anatole Rogers School.
He comes in here and I save him every day.
Catherine McKenzie works at a laundromat close to where the teenager lived and where he was found hanging. She says she saw him hours before he was discovered.
Around 3:30. I saved him a chip and a soda.
Next door neighbors in the blue apartment complex where the boy lived also expressed shock at his death. They say the family kept to themselves, although sometimes they would gather in the yard. Meanwhile, some of Edwards' Anatole Rogers classmates are heartbroken by his death. They describe the 16-year-old as an energetic and selfless person who had ambitions to be an engineer. The students added that he was always trying to make people laugh, and there were no signs that something may not be right. And you never thought that this boy maybe maybe he might need someone to talk to?
No, he just come order his drink and leave, or use the phone, or come charge the phone, his cell phone, that was it.
Edwards' alleged suicide is the 5th incident of its kind for 2019. He's the second Anatole Rogers student to die suddenly in less than 2 weeks. Police say an autopsy will be performed to determine the teen's exact cause of death. Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
The Bahamas Public Service Union is slamming as ludicrous and laughable claims that sabotage is behind issues with Princess Margaret Hospital's chiller system. Jillian Gray reports.
Union President Kimsley Ferguson is demanding that the health minister provide proof to substantiate those sabotage claims.
Please provide the proof that our members or members of our bargaining unit would have committed sabotage. We do not condone this type of stuff, no way, shape, or form. And so we would support them if in the event they can come up with some claims or evidence that someone from our bargaining unit was sabotaged.
On Friday, Health Minister Dr. Dwayne Sands confirmed that the air conditioning units in the critical care block were not working, which forced PMH to suspend surgical procedures. Dr. Sands said they suspect sabotage, adding they would not make such a claim without evidence. The matter has been referred to the police. Ferguson said those claims are ridiculous and drew laughter from his members. The union president hinted at possible legal action.
We can wait to see who they can suspend this time, and then we would allow our counsel to speak for us.
PHA signed a $1 million contract with Caribbean International AC Services Limited for 2 cooling units. In the meantime, the hospital has rented temporary chillers at a cost of $10,000 per month for 5 months. PMH is expected to receive those temporary chillers tomorrow. Ferguson said it seems that Sands is simply passing the blame and insisted the units needed to be replaced years ago.
Politicians are finding persons that they can use as scapegoats to cover their own incompetence. And so if something as important as the healthcare system is having some sort of malfunction as it relates to the air conditioning, which would hinder procedures such as operations from being carried out, I would think that it shouldn't happen a second time, because some contingency plan should be put in place to ensure that it doesn't happen again.
The BPSU president said moving forward, management needs to respond in a timely manner and give the workers the proper tools to maintain the units.
The last time the guys were suspended, they requisitioned for items, and they didn't get the items until the unit broke down. And so after the unit would have broken down, they made every attempt to try thwart the blame to somebody else. And so the union is not going to stand idly by and allow members of its bargaining unit to be exploited.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jillian Gray.
An American man was airlifted to New Providence for medical treatment after he was seriously injured in a boating accident in Exuma. According to police reports, a tour boat was sailing into Elizabeth Harbor in Georgetown Sunday afternoon when the captain felt something hit the rear of the boat. The injured tourist was removed from the water and transported to a medical facility in Exuma, where he was treated for severe hand injuries. He is now in hospital in New Providence, where he's listed in serious condition. Still to come, the Water Polo Advisory Committee speaks out. Plus, Bahamians sound off on race and politics. Stay tuned.